Hi everyone, welcome back to another Wellness Wednesday. My name is Molly and I am the Wellness Supervisor here at Bircham Hills. So today I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk with you about music, how music is kind of processed in our brain. We won't get into that too much, but more so we're going to talk about the different ways that music kind of benefits us, not only emotionally and mentally, but physically as well. So let's get started here. So I'm sure all of us can attest to having more of an emotional connection with music. Some people feel that more deeply than others. I myself am one of those people. But when we really think about, music kind of sets the stage, for our life, so to speak. Research has shown that listening to music can do a number of different things for us, not only mentally, but physically as well. So I've got my little list here, so I'll read those off. So depending again on the type of music you're listening to, and again just what your personal preferences are, music can help to relieve anxiety. It can help to lower blood pressure, and oftentimes that's hand in hand with that anxiety. Music can help with managing pain. And it's not necessarily that it's taking the pain away, but it gives our brain something else to focus on, so that we're trying to channel our thoughts more into what we're listening to and less on like the pain that we might be experiencing in that moment. So it is a pain management technique. Listening to music can help improve your sleep quality. Some people will listen to music either as they're going to sleep, or if they are just trying to unwind for the night, they'll listen to music to kind of get them into that more relaxed, meditative state so that it's easier for them to fall asleep. Music can improve your mood. I think we can all attest to, when our favorite song comes on, just feeling like, okay, maybe things aren't as bad as I thought they were today. It's very influential in helping to determine and shift our moods. It can also increase mental alertness, and it can improve your memory. So we're going to talk about the last two a little bit more. So let's talk a little bit more about that mental alertness, and a little bit more about how that ties in with exercise and listening to music. So for those of you watching who are either avid exercisers, or you like to go to the gym, or you do group classes, I'm sure that most of us can attest to we like to listen to music when we work out. And one of the reasons for this is because, one, it's a nice distraction for us. So if we're really putting a lot of effort and exertion into a specific exercise that we're doing, it helps for our brain to not perceive that energy and that effort to be quite so overbearing. But again, it also has that emotional response too. So if we're listening to music that is very upbeat and fast tempoed, that's really going to help for our mood to reflect that. It's going to help us feel more energized, and in turn that can help with that mental alertness. And again, because of the emotional response that music can initiate, if it's something that makes you feel very excited, very happy, oftentimes that alertness kind of perking your brain up, it hears something it likes, it can go along with that. I know we're not going very deep into the science behind all of this today, but I think a very nice basic lesson today will be okay. And then there's one more thing I want to talk about, which is how music can help improve memory. So when you do actually get into the science behind music and the brain, it's very, very intricate. So the way that our brain hears music actually kind of differs on, or depends on, the music that we're hearing. They've done different research studies where they take the same 5 notes and they play it in different cadences, different tempos, beats, and the neuron response in the brain differs depending on how that music is, how the tempo is, the softness, if it's crescendoing, if it's nice and smooth. And so it really is a complex process that goes on in our brain when we think about how we're actually interpreting that music. Obviously, when we hear music, it's all going in through our ear and auditory response and going to that part of our brain. But one of the things that makes music so important with memory is that that portion of our brain that really does a lot of the processing for memory, it tends, especially when we're looking at like Alzheimer's and dementia, it tends to linger a little bit longer. In addition to that, because of that emotional response that music tends to have, it has that innate ability to help us with recalling memories. You know, if you hear that song and it takes you back to a certain day at a certain time, and it's a really big part in, in recalling those memories and kind of, getting to re-experiencing them. Just like how if you smell a certain smell and it takes you back, or you hear a certain sound, music is very much the same way. And so one of the things that you'll note with individuals who have memory loss is that they won't always be able to recall what happened per se, but they'll be able to remember how they felt. The emotions tend to linger a bit more. And so with, again, music having that emotional response, in addition to just so many different parts of our brain being a part of interpreting music, that tends to last a little bit longer. So there are kind of mixed results on whether they think music actually helps improve cognition, especially when we're talking specifically with like Alzheimer's and dementia. We know that in developing brains, like in children, music is really, really great for helping with brain functioning and development. But when we're on the other end of the spectrum, they haven't found so much that's conclusive on, I guess, music helping with cognition. But one of the biggest things it does do, especially if we're talking about individuals, again, with Alzheimer's and dementia, is it can help with, the agitation and irritability, and again, not so much confusion, but it can help bring them into a more peaceful state. And if it's, a certain type of music that they like, that might trigger memories for them, that can get them talking about past experiences and whatnot, which can be a real treat for both them and for family and friends recalling with them. So really quick crash course today, a little bit of a better look on how music influences us both physically and mentally. I know we didn't go very deep into the science, but big takeaway from today is, especially nowadays as we're dealing with COVID and we're dealing with all the uncertainties, music is a great way to help with calming that stress and really helping to, focus on that emotional wellness that's oftentimes neglected in situations like this. It's something that's really helpful to couple in with your workouts, because it's going to help you, again, exercise a little bit longer. Studies actually say they predict or project that exercising while listening to music, it helps you exercise up to like 15% longer, especially for endurance related exercises like running and whatnot. And if you're someone who has a loved one with memory issues, using music as a way to help connect with them and reach them is a really valuable tool to use. So I hope you were able to take something away from this today, and I will see you next week. Thank you.